I mean, it's opening night. I think everybody's excited to play, and I don't think it really matters who you play in this league. You have to expect the best from the other side, and you got to be ready and prepared to play.
What have been your impressions of Cole Caulfield and how he's developing as a top goal scorer in this league?
Yeah, he's great. I like his game a lot. I think really smart player. Obviously, he's got a really great shot, and he's able to utilize it and find that quiet space to get it off. So he's a fun player to watch. Obviously, a guy that we kind of have to key on and make sure we're aware of when he's out there, because he doesn't need much room to get his shots off, obviously.
What stands out to you about this building, and especially like on an opening night? What sort of like atmosphere are you expecting?
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be bumping in here. It's going to be fun. It's always exciting playing in here. I think just with the history of both these teams and a bit of the rivalry, it's always fun. It's always a good atmosphere. The fans are into it, so I think everybody's looking forward to it. I mean, first game of the year, you kind of expect that the atmosphere is going to be pretty wild.
Like when you nobody can compare it to your NHL debut, but you got a number 1 first overall pick on the other side. What advice would you give him? I mean, we're probably going to be going through a lot of nerves tonight.
I don't know. I think that's an interesting question because they're an opponent. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you kind of just kind of figured it out along the way. I'm not sure I really got too much advice. He's a good player. Obviously, he got picked, there for a reason. So I'm sure he'll be ready.
What do you recall from the leading up to your first NHL game? We all know how it happened, but how about like prior to that game, how you felt and how it played out?
I think you're just excited. Obviously, I think a lot of work goes into getting up to that point, but then finally, living your dream, playing in the NHL, playing your first game. It's obviously, I think a lot of emotions kind of run through your head, but in the end, it's just hockey. It's something that we've all been doing for our whole lives. So, I think that's kind of the mindset that I try to have every night, going into a game regardless of the situation.
Was there like an awareness of being a number 1 pick in such a big market as Toronto is, as Montreal is? It comes with a certain level of hype. How do you recall handling that?
I just go out there and play hockey.
It's a little hard to be for you for 6 years now, Auston, since that night. Has that gone by quickly for you, or how do you see that?
Yeah, it's gone by real quickly. I think I think you hear guys say it all the time. How quickly it goes. So I definitely don't take it for granted. Obviously, every year is a new year, is a clean slate, and obviously really excited about this group and just to get going again and just competing every night. It's going to be fun.
Do you like the way this sets up with the home fair tomorrow night against the Capitals right away?
Yeah, I mean, lots of games right off the bat, so no time to waste, right into it, and I think that's probably a good way to get things going, get your feet under you quick, and have these games kind of get in their rhythm in a bit.
Slavkovsky actually said you were his favorite player to watch in the NHL. Do you recall what it was like? Like, was Patrick Kane that guy for you? That first game you played against somebody you really enjoyed watching growing up?
Yeah, I think it's funny. I remember I think Seth Jones had an interesting article. It was before I was in the NHL, but it's like your first year. It's pretty cool. You go one night you're playing against Crosby, next night Kane or Taves, all these guys, and it's really eye opening and it's really cool and fun. And then you're playing against somebody good every night, and I think that I don't know what you would call it, kind of wears off because you realize it's a bit of a grind and it's hard, and every night you're going to be competing against some really good players. So it's obviously an exciting time for guys like him who are kind of stepping into their first games in their first year and first season playing against guys that maybe they grew up watching and like to watch and stuff. But I really agreed with kind of that quote. It kind of wears off because every night you're going to be playing somebody really good, and you got to be ready every game to go.
It's not game related. I'm doing a piece on Ron Fignon, your old coach from. I just wanted to know what he has meant for you in your development in hockey.
Yeah, he was great. I had him my last 2 years of youth hockey, and he was an awesome coach to have. I think his passion for the kids and for development and just making it fun, but also getting something out of it. I thought he was unbelievable for me, and I had a lot of fun playing for him.
Can you compare your level of readiness for this season compared to last year, where obviously you had some issues in the camp and a late start?
I mean, I think we all feel ready. Like, training camp's been 3 weeks long, been skating a lot, practicing. So, I think everybody feels like they're ready. They're prepared to obviously play. We've gone through, everything throughout training camp, system stuff, preparation, everything. So, it's not going to be perfect right away. Obviously, at the start, you got to kind of work through some stuff that you kind of got to figure out. But all in all, I think it's been a great training camp for everybody, and everybody's excited.
I guess I
ready to
meant
go.
compared to last year where you didn't get that chance to work stuff out early,
Yeah, I don't know. Feel good.
Yep.
Yeah.
What's your sense of anticipation for opening night in Montreal?
Yeah, it's always a lot of fun. Obviously, a loud building. Great fan base here. Love their team. Don't like our team a whole lot, so it's always fun coming in this building and playing.
They've got a lot of turnover. 4 rookies on defense. What sort of opponent are you expecting tonight?
One that's going to be ready to try and prove something. One that's ready to go. So for us, it's just make sure we're doing the things that we need to do to be successful, playing the right way. Trying to make it hard on the opponent out there tonight and being smart with our pucks.
It's always special when a first overall pick debuts. You got to look at Slavkovsky in the preseason. What stands out to you about him?
Obviously he's a big man. He moves very well on his feet for how tall he is. Obviously he's got a pretty wicked shot. He makes some good plays out there. He can see the ice very well, and he's not afraid to take pucks to the net. So, I'm sure he'll have a good NHL career, and I'm sure he's pretty excited to get the first one under his belt.
I know you're plugged into the OHL. Have you been following this Arbor Jackeye story at all? Like, I know you would have seen him in the preseason as well. What do you make of how he's kind of come out of nowhere?
Yeah, I actually I watched that Hamilton team last year a little bit, just watching that Memorial Cup of theirs, that playoff run and stuff. Obviously, he's a big man that tries to put his physicality in his game first and tries to make it hard on other people. So for us, just making sure we're making smart plays with it, supporting each other on the ice, trying to draw people into us to try and open up other guys and open up plays. But obviously, his story is pretty cool. I didn't know he was not drafted to either league, and to be where he is now, it's outstanding. And that's the kind of stories that a lot of kids need to look at and grow up watching, because it's not always the prettiest way to get to where you want to be, and it's about working hard and keeping your dreams alive.
What feels different this year?
Just the energy again. Just we brought in a lot of great players. Brought obviously our main core back. That means that there's a lot of belief in us, and for us, just making sure we know we are that team that can do something special. And it's just day by day taking it, having fun out on that ice, trying to be better every single day we come in here, and starts tonight.
Mitch, what's the challenge of starting a season with a fresh set of mind? When you're a Toronto guy, you live there year round, and then the fans are waiting for the team to make a run in the playoffs. How do you sort of forget about that and try and focus on what's ahead?
I got great people around me. I got a great family. I'm very lucky to have that. I got great friends and people around me that it's not. They don't think of me as a hockey player. They think of me as a friend or brother or son. So I've been lucky in that aspect of I get away. I do my own stuff. I just try and just make sure I'm ready for this day. Make sure that my body's ready. You got to obviously make sure your mind's ready, because it's going to turn into a grind, and you got to just make sure your body can withstand throughout that grind and trying to continue to be successful. And but at the same time, you just got to take it day by day here. Like you hear me saying probably a lot. It's you can't look too far ahead. You can't do anything about the past. So it's about being here in the here and now, starting up the season, and we're excited about it.
How in your locker room do you analyze the current Montreal Canadiens roster? We all know they're young.
Yeah, like I kind of just said, the young guys are always hungry to try and prove a point, especially these guys. These guys have a lot of Canadian guys on their roster that, I think in Canada, Toronto's always a team that gets talked about a lot and everyone always knows about. So everyone's always excited to try and show out against us and prove a point. So I'm sure that's going to be another one tonight. And for us, it's just making sure we're doing our things right, not focusing on the other team, and putting ourselves in the right positions.
What stood out to you about Matt Murray during camp?
His calmness in net, he just seems always kind of just stress-free in there and relaxing and making some massive saves for us, and it was great to see. And hopefully for us, we can just keep making it easier and easier on him throughout games and not making him too stressful.
as you probably know, the news about Carey Price are not very good. What kind of memories do you have about your
I didn't hear.
games?
What did he officially?
No, not news, but
Oh.
he's not
Yeah,
very
yeah.
healthy right now. So what kind of memories do you have about your games against Carey Price?
Well, I don't even. I mean, I think it's before that. Just watching him with Team Canada, regardless of World Juniors, World Championships, Olympics, just how amazing and special it was to always watch him play, and then obviously getting to play against him, just to see the competitor. You know, he knew it was never an easy night, regardless of the team in front of him. How he played would make it an insane game to try and win, and it was always a respected competitor, and obviously, you know, the game misses him, but life always comes first. Your family always comes first. You got to take care of yourself, your mentals, and that's the most important thing in this life, is being around the people you love and making sure you're taking care of yourself before anything else.
Is there something too about a little extra electricity playing at the Bell? Oh, I'm sorry, at the Bell Center?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, growing up in Toronto, I know the rivalry between Montreal and Toronto, and to be a part of it is pretty cool. And I know the fans here are very passionate and they're very loud, and it's a really fun building to play in. So I'm looking forward to starting the season off here.
The way you play and the way Arbor Jacki plays, you guys already got well acquainted in the preseason. I'm just curious your perspective on him as a rookie coming in.
Yeah, good for him. He's obviously he plays a hard game, and he's a heavy body out there. So good for him for making the team. And but I'm not too worried about that right now. I'm more worried about my game and playing my game and focusing on the team here. So and I'm looking forward to that tonight.
For you, how does this opening night feel different than last year's?
Yeah, I guess I'm just a little more comfortable, but obviously the jitters are still there, the excitement is still there, and I just can't wait to get it going. So that part hasn't changed one bit. I think last year I was really excited, and I think this year I'm even more excited. So I'm looking forward to it.
When you were growing up, did you ever have a chance to come here to see one of these games?
No, I've never been here to be able to watch a game, and yeah, last year was I think they had full capacity by the end of last year, and it was loud and it was a fun building to play in.
Mitch was saying he expects them to be looking to make a point tonight, the young guys. What sort of opponent are you expecting tonight?
Yeah, expecting a team that plays fast, takes advantage of opportunities on the rush, and there's a lot of skill over there and a lot of guys that are able to score. So can't take them lightly one bit, and we just got to stick to our game and play that way.
What have you learned about Matt Murray through camp?
He competes, and he's a great goalie. So we're all really excited to have him here, and we're all looking forward to him in Game 1 tonight.
Sheldon, what sort of opponent are you expecting tonight?
One that has lots of energy, lots of passion to feed off the crowd. I mean, I think it's going to be similar to the type of games we played in here last season. After Marty came in and the change and all of that, just, you know, a youthful group that's got lots of energy, and you know, it's a deep forward group that is going to look to capitalize on mistakes, play in transition, and can score and all those kind of things. So certainly one that we are ready for and we've talked about.
What's the key for your group, though, Sheldon? You won against an inexperienced team, or
well,
generally.
Yeah, I mean, generally, and no matter who we're playing, we think with our team, we really want to stress the opponent's defense and the goaltender as much as we can, and spend as much time as we can on their half of the ice. And you know, we've got 4 lines, so I think we can just roll consistently, and you know, should be relentless in nature. And what you expect to see that today. You know, like I said, we got a team that's going to look to counter and transition really quickly, go the other way. So we have to be responsible with all of that. But you know, no matter who we're playing every night, our job is to go out and stress the opponent's defenders.
What do you appreciate about the atmosphere of an opening night in Montreal?
I love being in here. It seems like whether it's an opening night or not, there's energy, and just the building and the atmosphere that in itself creates is special. And Leafs Habs, I think obviously lots of history there, so players feed off that. I think if you're going to have an opening night, this is as good a place to be.
What do you tell your group to make sure they don't get carried away with expectations and you know, with the city waiting for the group to make a playoff run? You're 82 games away from that. How do you know? What do you tell your group to make sure they're focused on on what's ahead of them and not thinking far ahead?
Yeah, we talk a lot about a daily process and make sure we focus on every single day as it comes. You know, the expectations are not a new thing in Toronto, and you know, this group in particular is used to dealing with that. So we don't. The way that we handle it is really just not to discuss it. We just focus on what's in front of us, and it's Montreal Canadiens here tonight on the road, and want to start off the season on the right foot and be ready to play.
Well, you can use that approach from that. Look at last year and how that went for you in the regular season. So once you guys got out of October, that was basically the way it went for you, right? Sheldon was on every day, and this day is the only day that matters, and look how it paid off in the end, regular season wise.
Yeah,
Same sort of approach now.
certainly we've got great confidence in our team and our ability, you know, and we got off to a decent start last season with the first couple of games, but then got away on us. So that's just another example of how you've got to be focusing on being great every single day, build positive momentum, and you know, when you deal with difficult times, look to brush it off quickly and get back to work. You got to keep everything in perspective, no matter what type of team you're coaching, or where you're at in its development as a coach and a team. It's so important to just focus on what you can control daily. So not get caught up in anything else other than what we have to do here tonight.
How big of a factor was your performance against non-playoff teams last season in terms of where you finished, and how much did you look at that in the off-season?
Well, you know, it's certainly because we played so well against a lot of the top teams in the league, we were in a really good position where had we fared better against some of the teams that didn't make it, you know, could have made a significant difference in where we finished, despite the fact that we set a franchise record in points. So we were in a good spot going into the playoffs, but it could have been better. Once again, it just speaks to dealing with every single day, being prepared no matter who the opponent is or where we're at. So let's get that started tonight.
Bill won the Stanley Cup a couple of months ago. What kind of role or impact do you expect him to have on that team?
I expect the role and impact to be pretty similar to the one he played in Colorado. You know, he comes into that team and they have a very clear and defined role for him to come in and use his assets, which is his speed, his forechecking ability, physicality. We want to play it up tempo and a game with a lot of pace and be able to use four lines. And certainly the experience of playing, you know, in those games and playing on a Stanley Cup winning team, those are extremely valuable, which I think, you know, for a player like Kubel, who's still really trying to establish himself in the NHL. Certainly last season was a big step in that direction. You know, he's just got to continue to grow inside that role and you know, coming to a new team. I think it's been a bit of a slower process for him through the preseason. He's had a shorter offseason than every other player playing on our team here, obviously. And I've seen him get better every single day, so I'm hoping for that to continue.
What do you think is the biggest difference in Michael Bunting's situation this time to a year ago?
Yeah, it's, you know, again, for him, the challenge would be not to get caught up in anything else other than what he can control, everything we've been talking about here. You know, because it is different. It's different that, you know, he was a guy that coming into last season, there was a lot of question marks as, you know, could he establish himself in the NHL? It's a similar type of situation Kubel, and we were just speaking about in that sense. Different types of players and different roles and all that, but their situation was pretty similar. Now Bunce has clearly established himself as a successful player and an integral part of a very successful line for us. Now, you know, other teams know who he is. They respect his game. Officials know who he is. You know, all these kind of things. You know, that's the second time around becomes a little more difficult on that sense. But in the other part of it, you've got greater confidence in your ability. You know who you are. And you know what you're capable of doing. So I think all of that will serve him well, and the familiarity with his line mates and knowing that he has a clear and established role on the team should help him just really focus and go out and do his thing.